You're not inconsistent because you're lazy. You're inconsistent because your brain hasn't been trained yet to be consistent every single day. That's why one day you're locked in, but the next you are scattered. And you tell yourself, I'll just fix it tomorrow, but that tomorrow never comes. Not because you don't care, but because your nervous system flinches when pressure hits and your identity hasn't caught up to the level that you're playing at. See, elite founders don't have more time, talent, IQ, or willpower than you. They've just built an identity that doesn't flinch, an execution system that works even on bad days. And in this video, I'll break down the 8 things insanely consistent founders do so you can finally start executing at the level your business requires. The best skill in business is not sales or marketing, is execution, is learning how to do the right thing every single day without getting distracted or doubtful. This is the skill that makes elite founders elite. It's not how much marketing they know, what is their offer, it's how consistently they can execute on what they know. For you to become an incredible operator, you must train your mind for it. And if you don't want to figure this out on your own over many years or decades, you can book a decoding session below. We're going to run you through an analysis to pinpoint the exact cause of you being stuck and give you a proven roadmap to scale yourself. Book your decoding session below. First, elite founders are pulled forward by a mission. See, if your business only means making money, consistency will feel like an uphill battle as soon as things get hard. If you only rely on short-term dopamine to get things done, you will stop as soon as it hurts. Elite founders anchor their daily grind into something more profound than just making money. A vision, a purpose, a reason to make the pain worth it. And when you unlock that, you don't need to force yourself to show up. You're pulled forward by it. The mission doesn't need to be grandiose. You don't need to change the world. It can be as simple as being the absolute best you can be so you can put food on the table for your family, or being number 1 for the sheer love of the game, or whatever feels true to you. But it matters that you have indeed a vision, a worthwhile cause worth suffering from, because that makes daily consistency a downhill slope. Next, their identity matters most than their to-do list. See, average founders build calendars and to-do lists, but elite founders prioritize building the person that can actually deliver. See, they understand that not aligning work with identity creates friction. So they don't ask, what should I do today? They ask, who do I need to be to do what I need to do effortlessly? And then they rehearse it. They eliminate bad habits. They remove limiting beliefs. They visualize the path ahead. They prime their focus. They design their environment for execution. That's why they actually get the job done, not because they want to, but because they have architected an identity that defaults to doing it. They treat resistance as data, not drama. See, inconsistent founders panic when resistance hits. Doubt, distraction, discomfort, they interpret it as failures. But consistent founders, they lean in because they treat those as signal, as proof that they are on the edge of growth. So every urge to scroll, avoid, or delay is a pattern that they use as training data to improve the next day. Instead of avoiding resistance, they train for it, and they understand how their mind works under pressure to consistently push the limits of their comfort zone. So friction becomes the guiding light towards the next version of themselves. Which leads me to number 4, they obsess over floors, not peaks. See, inconsistent founders want to be a 10 out of 10 every day and get, one great day per month. Consistent founders engineer 8 out of 10 days daily with minimal viable execution system. They design their workday to accommodate this. So even at 40% energy, or even if they didn't sleep well, they can still deliver at 80% output without heroic sprint, just boring, reliable output that creates momentum that compounds, because they know that 1 focused hour per day beats 10 chaotic hours on a good day. 5, they recover like it's a revenue generating activity. See, the average founder will work nonstop without resting, which inevitably leads to burnout. Elite founders treat rest and recovery as part of their job. They work hard but rest harder. They run fatigue audits, nervous system reset, circadian recalibration. They track their cognitive load in the same way everybody else tracks their profit, which leads to more profit, because rest is not the opposite of work, it's the multiplier. 6, elite founders First, build execution systems that think for them. See, most founders wake up asking, what should I do today? Which is already a losing proposition. Consistent founders design systems that make execution easy. Because without a system, your day is a minefield. Notifications, distractions, decisions. Every hour is a trigger to get you off track. Consistent founders know that and diffuse it in advance. So every day is locked in the day before. Every input is routed and assigned towards a time block. Their priorities are clear. The execution blocks are hardwired to their focus windows. Everything is precisely designed. So they don't manage their time. They remove every single thing that could prevent them from actually doing the thing. And this is why they can stay consistent and put in 12-hour days without getting tired while everybody else is overwhelmed by 10 a.m. Finally, 7, the shrink the gap between knowing and doing. This one's huge because I've seen it hundreds of times. Inconsistent founders tend to overthink every move, creating imaginary scenarios in their head about potential outcomes that never materialize because they don't take action. Consistent founders do the exact opposite. They shrink the gap between thinking and doing. They move from insight to experiment to track shift as fast as possible. The tighter the loop between insight, experiment, and shift that is tracked, the faster the learning. And the faster the learning, the more inevitable the growth. Which leads me to the final point. They reflect like athletes, not amateurs. See, average founders track nothing, which is why they don't learn. But consistent founders lock performance like they're professionals. And every single night they debrief what worked, what didn't work, how can I get better tomorrow? And if there's something that is not working, they fix the glitch fast before it becomes a problem. That's why they never need resets. They're always tuned in. They're always primed for consistent execution because they're treating their work as a scientist will treat theirs. They're consistently getting feedback in order to become better. This is 8 things that I found insanely consistent founders, the one that I coach, consistently do. And leads me to the inevitable conclusion that consistency is not a magical talent. It's a simple skill anyone can develop by rewiring how your brain performs. And if you're done duct taping your performance and ready to rewire the system underneath, book a decoding session with us. We'll show you how to turn inconsistency into inevitability. Because you and I both know you don't need more information. You need a system that actually rewires how you get things done. So habits actually stick and your identity compound. This is the most important intervention you can do for your business. Not learning a new skill. Any skill that you learn that you do not execute on not only makes you more miserable, but it widens the gap between your potential and your results. If you're done with that, book a call with us and we'll fix the problem at the root.